for some reason, they don't like the way I say dog. I'll be like, come get your dog. And they're like, dog, dog. You're a hillbilly. I don't think I say dog funny at all. Dog, dog. How would you say it? Dog, dog. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Shooting the with Yankee. As always, I'm Yankee. Continuing the theme of the last couple of days, today's topic is, what is the one must-have rifle? If you're going to call yourself a rifle lover, a rifle enthusiast, you've crossed over from just a user to maybe even a collector. What one rifle do you have to have in your collection before anyone's going to believe you? Like, you can't say, I'm a rifle enthusiast, but I don't own an AK-47. Well, a lot of people would say, well, then you don't really love rifles. So what do you think the answer to that question is? And for me, it's just basically a genre of rifles. If you're someone who says, I love rifles, and all you've got AKs and ARs, or someone is like, I'm a big rifle enthusiast. Look, I got 50 AR-15s of different sizes and shapes and colors and whatever. I'm like, well, you don't love rifles. You love AR-15s. The one rifle that someone's got to have in their collection, in my mind, to even come close to saying they're actually an enthusiast, is a lever action. Maybe a nice old Winchester 1892 or something like that. But if you don't have a lever action rifle in your collection, do you really love rifles? I mean, there's lots of rifles you need to have. You need to have semi-autos. You need to have bolt actions. You need to have blah, blah, blah. But if you don't have a lever action, be it a Marlin or a Winchester or a Ruger, whatever. I don't care who makes it. If you've got a lever action gun, you're doing okay. You're actually showing that you appreciate long guns. So that's my answer. It's a lever action rifle. It's nothing specific, not a specific one. You just got to have at least one or two of those in your collection to be considered a true rifle lover. Now let's go over here and see what other people have to say. Gummy Wuzzle said the FNC. Why? Hell, I don't know. I just like it. Well, I guess that's a good enough reason. I mean, you can't really be wrong. This is your opinion. So whatever you say is right. It doesn't mean and like I said, this doesn't mean it's the best rifle ever or the one rifle you should have if you just have one. This is just one you think every enthusiast should have at least one of. If you were only going to have one rifle, that's a different question. Fort Lawrence said a Ruger 1022. That's kind of a staple, the Ruger 1022. When I was a kid, it was more the Marlin, the Marlin 60. That was that was my first rifle. That was just mine, that I was told, hey, go out in the woods and play. And, here's your rifle for Christmas one year. And we only got like one, toy or gift that wasn't clothes at Christmas. Everything else was socks, underwear, jackets, stuff like that. Because it was a time of year where you would go out and buy the stuff that you needed. Your aunts and grandparents and everything would make sure you were clothed for the year. But you got one toy, one, or something you enjoyed, something was just for fun. And one year when I was 8 years old, it was a Marlin 60. And I was told so many times, go out and play with your Marlin. Practical Bacon says, good bolt action. I really like my Remington 700 and my Weatherby Vanguard, my friend gun. Yes, I think that was your friend gun. He bought that with him when he won the friend certificate. He used that gift certificate to buy a long gun. I forget who all's won at this point. We've given away so many. John Heasley said, lever action Henry. Well, that's more specific, but yes, Henrys are awesome lever action guns. I've only got, counting mare's legs, like 6 or 7 Henrys. I don't have a ton of them, but they are really nice. I'd like to have more. I'd like to have one of every one they make, but sometimes you don't get what you want. You can't always get what you want, as a great philosopher once said. You can't always get what you want, they said. John Heasley also said, or a Springfield M1A. I have one of those. I have a lever action Henry. I have a Springfield M1A. I have a good bolt action rifle. I have a 1022. So far, I'm doing everything. I have everything except for that FNC. I'm not a rifle enthusiast, though. I mean, I like handguns way more than rifles. Rifles are more for hunting and offense, whereas handguns are more just defense. And I'm more of a defense kind of guy because I'm kind of sweet and loving and kind of a pacifist, you know. Edgar Cortez said a 308 rifle. I love my Ruger American. I have the Gun Sight Scout and I really like it. Mr. Furley said bolt action 308. That's what I just mentioned with my Gun Sight Scout. I got two of those. Or a 30-06 Ruger or Remington. Good choices. And practical guns. Bolt actions especially. You're going to have to survive on your own in a while. You got to hunt. Bolt actions are a must-have. Or if you just like to hunt, bolt actions are a must-have. Spud Gun is chiming in from over in Europa and said 1916 Ross MK3 straight pull in 303, dead accurate. Yeah, that's one of them old style military looking rifles, like Mosins and stuff like that. So good choice. An enthusiast, I find, love those things. They would definitely want those. Tim Allen said a good lever action. Yes, you should definitely have a good lever action. Johnny Mandrick said an M1A1. Good choice. That's a gun I think most people who really like guns want, like rifles want. It's not like the most practical gun. I mean, it's kind of heavy, but, it's awesome. So it's worth having because it is awesome. Paul B said lever action is a must. Yes, the lever action is a must. I think we've established that. I think we got enough votes now that most people will say, yes, lever action is a must. Officer Tater Hater said lever action 30-30. Everyone needs it. In fact, cops should be issued that gun along with the 4-inch Model 66. Investigators should have the Model 637. That's an interesting choice. Well, Officer Tater Hater, he's not a big fan of the police. I say give them batons and put them back out on the street. See if they really as tough as they think they are. Kenneth Donaldson says Winchester lever action 30-30. That's an awesome choice. I have a Winchester John Wayne commemorative over my TV in the living room. I forget what fucking caliber it is. It's a weird caliber. Mike D. Winchester 1895. I almost said 1985. I don't think Winchester designed anything in 1985. 1895 30-06 lever action rifle. Yes. I think it's easier to find 30-30s in lever action than 30-06s for some reason, but I'd rather have the 30-06 myself. John Baloney Jr. Almost called him Paul. John Baloney Jr. A nice sporterized 09 Argentinian Mauser 98. Ooh, someone's going to take exception with you because someone pointed out sporterizing those types of guns the other day was cringy. So someone in the chat right now is like, ugh. Clinton Seattle said Ruger 1022. That's the second vote for a Ruger 1022. And I might be a little more broad and just say, a little semi-automatic 22 rifle because, everyone should have one of those. Varmint hunting, like if you need to hunt, you want to catch a rabbit. I mean, you don't want to go out and shoot a rabbit with your 45-70 or a shotgun. I've seen people hunt rabbit with shotguns, and I'm like, well, I don't want to spend my day getting shot out of a rabbit because you shot it with bird shot. Squirrel and Wesson, haven't seen them in a very long time. Bolt action model 1903 A3 or A4, otherwise a nice bolt action 22 long rifle of some sort. Caden has a little 22 bolt action. That was the first rifle I got him when he was 8. And the reason I got him the bolt action one is because I didn't want him having something semi-auto with his first rifle. I wanted him to have to rack that bolt every time, but I didn't want something like a cricket where you have to put a round in every time. That is just tedious when you're a kid. So I wanted it to be magazine fed. So I got him a little Marlin that's a magazine fed bolt action 22. He's still got it in there in his safe. Hopefully someday he'll pass it down to his kid, my grandchild, but I don't know if I'll ever see that or not because my kids are nerds. So I don't know if I'll ever be a grandparent. I want to be a grandparent. They are not doing their job. They should be making me a grandparent. But so far, they are not. They play magic. That makes me think I'm never going to have grandchildren. Gummy Wuzzle. I was going to ask the ladies in here, what do you think? Would you ever marry a kid that played magic? But there ain't no ladies in here. Well, there's Clint in Seattle, but I don't think she would marry my son. Felice Shanice is here. I don't know what was she married. I watch her husband be a magic player or something. I don't think so. I think he's too old to be a magic player. Although I know some old people play video games and things like magic. I'm like, that's sad. Like when I take my son, when they were younger, and I'd go with them to like the card shop where they're going to go play magic, where I'd drop them off, come back, get them later. There'd be people in there like my age playing the magic games and stuff and the Dungeons and Dragons, and I'd be like, it's sad that you're my age and you ain't got laid yet. Because if you did, you'd have something else to do other than this. But Felice Shanice says, for the collector, have to have a Springfield 1903. That's a good collector's choice. It wouldn't be the gun I'd say you had to have if you only had one, but definitely a good gun for collectors. And that looks like that's it today. That's who's weighed in and what they had to choose. How about you out there in YouTube land? What do you choose? Put your answer in the comment section below. And if you want to weigh in on one of these topics in person, come to one of our live chats. We have them every night at 6 p.m. Pacific. They're open to everyone. Everyone's welcome, whatever political affiliation, whatever religion, whatever. We don't care here. You just come in as long as you like guns. You're welcome. So come on in. Let us know what you think about the topic of the day, and stick around for the open chat afterwards, which we'll be doing right after this. And let us know what you want to talk about. We'll talk about whatever you want. So come on in. If you got a question or you want to challenge me on something, let me know. Otherwise, I hope to see everyone again tomorrow. Until then, remember, always carry and stay safe until I see you again.